In my attempts at setting up my AI autonomous coding environment, there's some very important lessons that I've learned about alignment, and in this purpose of this video is to serve coherence. Lesson number one: bigger, more hardware, faster, capable, more hardware, more power doesn't equate stability. In fact, it's the opposite, and that's a pattern I've seen hold in the real world, and also configuring an autonomous AI agent that crawls down code and actually maintains structure within that code. There's loads of popular benchmarks and little lab testing results from these giant AI labs that really shows you amazing numbers for these big numbers, but lived experience, tested these things, lived first-hand experience. We've given these AI models a huge playground, but we've never really solved a coherent way for the little attention that the AI model has within that playground to stay coherent when reading lots of data. So yeah, you can run bigger and bigger models with faster and faster giant more warehouses, but after having the AI read a few code files and think about what it's done, it tends to start spitting out garbage because of overwhelming, similar to us humans with the social media. We're overwhelmed with information, so now the signal to noise ratio on digital platforms are massively disproportionate. So to retain signal to noise ratio, you want to limit how much data your AI agent processes all at once. Trust your lived experience instead of benchmark results from these giant labs. Now that we've established that bigger doesn't equate better, how do we solve more work being done in a smaller playground for this AI agent? That we've shrunken the playground because the attention is too narrow, and we've not solved the attention problem. In fact, we're kind of ignoring the attention problem and just going for bigger and bigger playgrounds, which I've seen shoot us in the foot more than actually help us. In my experience testing models with more AI models with more capacity, but they don't really have more capacity actually. It's just more confusion. So lesson number two: how do you actually have your AI model to actually stay coherent in that small bounds? State tracking. How well does it track what it's already seen versus not seen? Compression mechanisms. Find some AI tool that has a really well compression mechanism after it's done a certain amount of work and the attention is after the information has grown up to where the attention can hold structure to the maximum. You compress that. Find some kind of tool that has a really robust, solid compression mechanism, and then it continues working, grows again, compressed, it continues working, grows again, compressed, and then you have this nice little small playground where the AI finds the information, tuck it to the side like achievements for a quest, and it continues on the journey, compressed again. That agentic loop, that autonomous agentic loop, works really well. Actually solve attention overwhelming and also the confusion. Models bigger than 24 billion parameters, higher than 64,000 tokens. It's just gonna introduce more noise. It's just big fancy numbers for investors to stay happy. It's not really functional. Closed source paid agentic coding platforms are doing. They have agentic loops, memory management mechanisms, but the open source community still struggles with this. A really good tool I found so far is KiloCode. This is not a sponsored video, but my lived experience of what actually works. Paired with Devstro's small. And that takes us to lesson number three: democratization. If we all understand the language involved, and if you want to remain independent of whatever might be going on in the industry right now, it's really crucial that you quickly get your stuff offline now. Find specific versions that work for you, and freeze frame them, either through downloads or disabling updates or whatever. There's lots of incentives on specifically not focusing on these solutions that makes AI models work really well for a single consumer computer. Like not that it's actually malicious, it just doesn't pay, so it's not paid attention to, and it might stay listed this way for a while. So find something that really works for you and freeze frame it, and hopefully maybe that can actually contribute to making these tools more democratized and more open. Actually, lesson number four: minimizing friction. Whatever tool that you choose to use, ensure you pair it with a model that's actually trained on that specific tool and not just general tooling training. Because right now, the best analogy I heard someone use is AIs are just digital construction workers that has really powerful tools, power drills, chainsaws, but they have amnesia. Take that as you may. So to reduce that friction, verify that the AI model that you choose to pair with your tool, ensure that it's specifically trained with that specific tool to reduce friction. I found that even the very popular coding tools, the very popular coding large language models, often fall into tool calling loop, using the tools and looping, and maybe like writing one line of code 1,000 times and just getting stuck in looping on that. And it doesn't even know why it's doing it, and it's just, but yeah. Oh, it seems as if there's a lesson number four. Wow, I'm doing this on the spot, so no preparation. But I missed something. Lesson number four: how you choose to speak to the AI agent really, really matters, whether it's able to interpret what the hell you're trying to say. So communication is important. I found that using words like you or I have, you have, really confuses the model, because the AI model is working with interfaces that's acting like an AI model, so it gets confused as to whether it's the tool or the AI model or the layer in between. So identity is a really big thing. I know it sounds weird, but accounting for how the model holds its identity structure so it doesn't collapse. I found that using words like we works really well. So prompt the AI as if you are also the AI's thinking process. You're also part of the AI's thinking about its own work. When you add that layer of separation, like you're saying you, it gets really confused as to who's done what, who is you, who is I, what are they, who, you know. So being really clear with maintaining identity as collaborative works really well. If when we use the word we, it sees itself as an ecosystem, and that I found that works really well. I'm really excited. I actually got my offline AI agent to complete 2 hours worth of continuous work, unsupervised. And it was just all configuration walls that I've kept hitting. But if you take anything from this video, we do come to a time where it becomes standard that everyone just automatically understands how to configure their own AI environment, private, local. That takes us to the next step at democratizing AI and have it, proportionately distributed and decentralized, which I think is good for the ecosystem, the environment, and the economy. I know this is a lot different than the kind of stuff that I normally post, but super technical, this one. But I think it's worth. If you want any of these instructions tailored to your specific level of understanding, maybe not everyone will understand every single thing that I'm saying here. Yeah, feel free to drop me a DM, and I can fine tune this tutorial that's understandable to your specific level of understanding. But happy vibe coding.